Welcome to the first episode of Courtesy Cast. It's me, Jakey Courtesy, and I'm here with Jacqueline.
Hello.
And Jesse.
Hey.
That's Jesse the MJ Lance on Twitch. And we got Bubby here.
Hello.
He's also Jesse, but his name is Bubby.
Yeah.
I'm also Jakey Courtesy on twitch.tv. So keep that in mind. So for Jacqueline, well, I met Jacqueline. Let's talk about when we first met each other. I met Jacqueline on Team Fortress 2. Let's see, we were 19 years old at the time, and now we're 24. So I met Jacqueline 5 years ago. That's 2014.
That's a long time.
2014. That's when I met Jacqueline.
Wow.
We were just playing a game of TF2 on an official server, and she added me as a friend on Steam. That's how it went. And now we're together.
That's so sweet.
And you're like, why is this person messaging me?
I was like, why did you add me? Why are you talking to me and trying to become my friend? You're from the internet. What the heck are you doing?
Well, that was back in the day when internet talking was a bad thing.
Oh,
You
I
can't
know.
go on the internet and don't talk to those people. You don't know who they are, what they do.
Hey, stranger danger.
Yeah.
Jesse. I met Jesse in high school. Junior year. Japanese. Was it Japanese 3? I knew you
Japanese
before.
1.
I knew you before, yeah. I knew you. Japanese
From
1.
school.
But Japanese 3 is when we really became friends.
Oh, I think we officially met in probably one of the worst ways in middle school. Where I remember
yeah.
you and our mutual friend Jesse, your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got a lot of Jesse friends.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to be clear. A third Jesse.
Yeah. But I remember he yelled something at my girlfriend, so I came over and yelled back at him. And that's what I remember your face from there. Like, that's like, I was like, I remember that kid. When we got into Japanese, I was like, who is this guy? And the other kid I remember yelling at, but I wonder if we can be cool. Good.
Yeah, you changed a lot from middle school to high school. You were,
That's probably a good thing.
yeah, you were much more friendly, I think, but
Rip.
I don't know. I guess I guess my only perception of you was an angry guy yelling at my best friend. So,
That's true. I can see that.
Bubby, I met Bubby through Darshan and Taryn,
Yep.
probably on a Skype call.
Yes.
But we played Guild Wars 2,
A
and
whole lot of Pokemon at the time.
a lot of
Oh,
Pokemon.
That was when we met in person at first. It was at the 2014 Video Game Championship Regional.
That's
This
true.
is, Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I
So,
was like, dude, this guy's cool. He gave me a 4-leaf clover.
oh yeah,
Yep.
I ordered
Stuck
4-leaf
in my-
clovers.
I stuck it in my Timo hat, and I went about my day, doing pretty okay.
I still have that 4-leaf clover.
I remember that you were there with your brother Cody.
Yes.
I ordered 4-leaf clovers off Amazon, one for each of my friends that went to the tournament, so we could have good RNG in the Pokemon VG. And our
You
friends,
ordered 4-leaf clovers offline. That sounds so weird.
I know, and they came in like card sleeve. Like all the clovers were in one like cheap 99-cent card sleeve. And they were just dried, pressed 4-leaf clovers. And I gave them to everybody. Our friend Taryn took it another level higher by taking his 4-leaf clover. And he said, it's not just good enough to have. You need to consume it. And he ate it. And he thinks that that's what gave him his luck.
Well, he did pretty good that tournament despite his trash team.
No, I gotta say,
It worked.
I gotta say, the first time I ever bought a 4-leaf clover, I got picked in that, like, in between round raffle. They called my number and I got the hat. Like, that was the only thing I've ever won by chance in my entire life. Buying 4-leaf clovers works, guys.
Investing in your luck.
Yeah. So yeah, me and Bubby became good friends because we played Guild Wars 2, and we woke up early, and everybody else slept until like 1 p.m. So we were the only ones around, and we hung out in Guild Wars, and that's how we became good friends.
I hate waking up early. Oh, sorry, buddy.
So let's talk about our first topic, Google Stadia. What do you guys think about that?
Ooh, that's all I gotta say right now, dude.
How about that controller?
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying the controller design is like, that looks like a mediocre controller. I'm sure it'll be okay, but just the concept, I think, is the future of video streaming, is having it tie into video game streaming, because I think video game streaming is theoretically the best, but currently in practice kind of bad from my experience of stuff like PlayStation Now.
Oh yeah, definitely. PlayStation Now is not like what it in like on paper. PlayStation Now is amazing, but actually trying to play PlayStation Now, there's actually a really good video by Germa985. He's playing PlayStation Now and he's trying to play Red Dead Redemption, and it's actually really funny because he had to wait in a queue line of like 9 people or something. He finally got to play the game. And this is a game that he ordered off Amazon, and the code they gave him didn't work. He went to his local like Walmart or something, and he bought the game for the Xbox 360, and it didn't like install the game on his Xbox, so he couldn't play it. He finally he's like, whatever, PlayStation Now, I'll just play it on the PlayStation Now. And every like 9 seconds it started buffering. Like, the video game was buffering. It was like, hold on, let's get your game back together. And then it would play the cutscene. And it was like, wait, hold on a second, it's not working. And then play the cutscene again. And it was so bad. Like, that is really, if that's really where we're headed, that's not good. But
I remember watching that video too. I was like, this is frustrating.
I think that Google Stadia was being, like, showcased at GDC. And people were actually playing the new Doom game on it, and I guess it maybe worked well. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like I feel like that could be kind of rigged at an event like that, because I wouldn't trust any sort of wireless connection at a conference like that. So then I would just I would just rig that if I was Google, because I just for an okay experience for my con go, it's not even to try to like deceive any press trying to see how the technology works.
That's true. Jacqueline made a good point the other night when I was showing her the controller, that it looks very similar to like a DualShock controller, the stick placements and stuff like that. I think they're like going a really safe bet on the controller. Just you know, there's the Stadia button there in the middle between the 2 sticks. You got the 2 sticks, probably triggers, probably bumpers, the D-pad, XYBA, which kind of follows the Microsoft thing, so it's going to have actual button placement indication on games with support for Xbox controllers. Like,
That's really
whatever.
nice.
So...
Its controller reminds me of the Ouya.
Oh yeah, the shape of it.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. And I remember liking
about
that
that.
shape then too. I was like, I like that, but when holding it, I was like, I don't really. This doesn't feel good, and so I'm hoping that controller does not emulate what the Ouya did with the controller, in terms of like the ergonometry. I know the buttons are completely different, but
Yeah, that's true. But if it works the way that it's intended to, it could be the console killer. I mean, if you still, like, I'm still wondering about that. Like, all these new games, like the new Assassin's Creed and the new Doom, are coming to the Google Stadia. Well, Do I still have to buy those games, or is it just a yearly paid or monthly paid service, and I just get to play those games? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, because games, I mean, buying a movie, I guess nowadays buying movies can be expensive, but it's like $30, $40, $50. Games are $60. You know what I mean? There's a lot of money that goes into the software creating video games. Obviously, for movies, they have that initial period where they're in theaters and they make all their money and some. Plus, they sell the media on discs as well. So,
Right.
it's not like we go to, like, oh, a new video game came out, come play it for $13, and you go to like a big video game place and you pay $13 and you get to go in and play the game for like 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, wow, that game's so good that I'm gonna go buy it when it comes out on disc or downloadable or whatever. No, they don't get that income right away like movies do. So I wonder how that's gonna work.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Because you can have a movie in theaters for like a month and make a whole crap ton of money and then go and sell the media.
I don't know. I think that when I think of Google Stadia, I think that a lot of these companies are recognizing how much money you can make off of games and how many people actually play them and how crazy they're getting these days. And they see what Steam has built up over the years. And now they want to have their own platform. They want to have their own controller. They want to have their own list of games and exclusives. And for it to come from Google and for them to release this and try and really push it, I don't know, it kind of worries me that it's just a company who's going to want control of everything, and if everybody does hop on board with it, they can really charge you whatever they want.
That's true.
The other thing I don't really like is that I don't know if you guys looked at that GameSpot article, but they said that they're releasing their own like developing studio called like Stadia Games and Entertainment, and they're putting a guy named Jade Raymond in, who he was like the head of Ubisoft and EA. And
yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't
can tell you
recognize
enough.
him.
So if they're developing their own exclusive games with him in control, I mean, I feel like they're just trying to grab as much money as they can, and I don't even know if I would like the games or not. I'm sure they'll look amazing, but I'm very reluctant to believe that I'm going to enjoy everything about Google Stadia right away if I try it.
You make a really good point, especially because like my perception of Google as it is just a data mining like machine where it already has all of our data, right? And it sells this information to help better, other companies learn or whatever. And now you have a new device that tracks what kind of games you like. And I'm not saying that like a company's gonna like think to do this, but I don't put it past the table. They would use video game addiction as a way to keep you coming to play their games by having specific games algorithmed to, I don't know if I said that right, to have the games that you would play right in front of you and keep you coming back for that service. Like, oh, it already knows what I want to play. And I don't feel comfortable with that,
That's true. And with Google Stadia, you don't need a console. You literally just need a screen and the controller. The controller connects to Wi-Fi, and the screen connected to the same network streams the game to you. So you play your favorite game on your tablet. You play your favorite game, whatever, on your phone. You play your favorite game on your TV. Now your smart TV is recommending you other games in the same category to buy on Google Stadia, even though it's not a video game console. Your phone and your tablet are also doing the same. And then they start relating you products similar to that game. Say you're playing a game where you design clothes or houses or something, and now they start sending you ads for clothing or like different furniture and stuff. So yeah, Google definitely has a lot of clout in the industry, and they're going to be using Google Stadia as just another pillar of their company to gather information and to sell to consumers. I mean, it's true.
I think the downsides are pretty clear, like you all said, and I think that there comes a time when portability and accessibility become too much, and of course that's a matter of self-control, but also and it isn't necessarily Google's concern as long as they're not clearly exploiting anybody, like you were saying, Jesse, with if they were intentionally plucking at people's addictions. I personally believe that is different from recommending something based on what you like, because I'm also kind of creeped out when I see personalized ads and things, but I think that is within reason to some extent for a person receiving the ads and receiving the suggestions to turn down like anything else.
Right.
So I'm not sure when it becomes too far.
That's actually a good point too. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, it's tough. But
I think the integration with YouTube is going to be fantastic, though. I'm kind of.
Oh yes.
I think to all of the kids, I say loosely, I'm also kind of a kid, but when I was younger and I would watch YouTube videos or whatever Let's Plays, if I could stream whatever game they were playing right when I finished that Let's Play, it would have been incredible. My mind would have been blown. So I think that's a cool tie-in.
Right, you're gonna go to Google. You're going to watch your favorite content creator play a game, and there's going to be a button or something like play on Stadia, and you're going to click it, and you're going to be able to play the game immediately. You know what I mean? Like, that is what they want. And, there's so many kids watching YouTube videos of video games and seeing, oh man, I would love to play that game. Well, if Google has their own, like, premium service account that you get, like if it's all integrated like Amazon does it, where Prime is Twitch Prime and also Amazon Prime, if they have YouTube Red or whatever it is, also the same service for Google Stadia or whatever, you'll have your YouTube service that you're paying for, you'll have your Google Stadia, ability to stream. You're gonna see a game that you like, you're gonna want to get their premium service and just play the game. And I honestly, Google can set the bar as high as they want at this point. Amazon Prime is $100 a year. They could go for $120. They could go for whatever. If the service is good enough, people will pay for it.
Definitely.
Because this is like the dream. This is the dream of video games right now.
And I think the business model is really strong, like you were saying, to include subscriptions with other subscriptions, because it's both good for the consumer, at least when the price is still reasonable. Because you come into something for something specific, maybe you're just there for YouTube Music or YouTube Red or whatever, and then you also get Google Music and whatever else, and then maybe even Stadia, because that works so well for Amazon, for example, hosting the Grand Tour. Despite spending millions of dollars on each episode, they get so many subscriptions just so people watch the Grand Tour, other Prime original things. And I think it's going to be the same thing with World of Warcraft coming up, because they have World of Warcraft Classic coming out this summer, and you get both the live game and the classic thing under one subscription. I think that's going to have that's going to give you a lot more in sales for the other product than it will lose you for giving away something for free, quote unquote.
Yeah. Big companies are getting better at making services look good. Like Amazon Prime, to me, as a personally, is required. I think it's an amazing service.
Yeah.
How often do you use it?
A lot. I use Amazon all the time, and my girlfriend uses it. Her mom uses it. We watch Prime Now on the TV in the living room, or Prime Video or whatever. And and Twitch. I get my free sub once a month, and I get free games on Twitch. I can't imagine not having 2-day shipping on Amazon.
Yeah.
And if I lived in Seattle or something, or Philadelphia, or New York, my same day shipping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That service is so good. Honestly, they could raise the price 100 times, and I would still feel like I wanted it. Even if I couldn't afford it, I'd still want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
That
I'm kind of at that crossroad personally. Like I don't use Amazon almost at all because I don't ever really shop online. But when I do, sometimes like every once in a blue moon, I'll be like, I want to see what I can watch today. Go on Amazon Video. I'm just like, okay, cool. And then I think about I'm paying $100 to do this once every few months. Like this, I need to start using it more.
oh yeah, if you have it, you need to use it because it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how big companies are going these days. And speaking of big companies, let's talk about Disney. Yeah.
The big one.
The big one, double big now. They've acquired Fox.
Quadruple big.
Did they buy Fox or just Fox Studios?
They bought everything except for their news network, their sports network, and their business channel. Or their business, whatever. Fox Business.
Wow.
That's probably good for them to jettison those pieces, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Disney is kind of like a liberal, democratic type of thing. They don't want to associate themselves with Fox, which is very hard right, Trump supporting Republican, like they're opposites. They didn't want that anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, this means that they own the X-Men now, which if you see on Twitter, Ryan Reynolds makes a whole bunch of jokes about it, like getting kicked out of Disney World or Disneyland or whatever. Him wearing a Mickey Mouse cap on Twitter as Deadpool.
Yep.
He's pretty excited for it. I mean, who doesn't want to unite the entire Marvel universe? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The X-Men are a huge part of the Marvel universe.
Dude, the movies that are going to come from this, dude, I am so pumped. Because the ones were okay. But now we have a budget. Now we have a budget for this.
I know, it's going to be good. Now with the X-Men and everything, it's just going to be amazing. But that means that they also own Fox Animation, which includes Family Guy, The Simpsons. So now they got their finger in those pies. I guess, I don't know, was Avatar a part of that? Or was that something else? People are talking about that.
Airbender?
No, Avatar, the cat people.
Gotcha.
I don't think they're related, but I might be wrong.
Well, whatever.
The studio.
Yeah, they own FX, the network, the television network. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And that makes Disney huge. And the fact that they could even legally do that is insane. Like,
for real though.
That is a huge monopoly move, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the amount of money invested in this is insane, even compared to the last two deals of Lucasfilm and Marvel.
Right. Like $70-something billion acquiring people, acquiring them.
I have the numbers here for the other two, and it was like $4 million for both Marvel and Lucasfilm. Well, each $4 million. And
wow.
And so it is an astronomically larger price for Fox. Maybe rightfully so, given how much that is. But it's still just a crazy investment.
Yeah, that is insane.
I feel like I'm really excited about all the possibilities of crossovers and, rebooted content or exploring like new things that Fox own. I mean, you guys already said X-Men and you know how much I really like X-Men. But there are like some things that you have to wonder, like, are they really going to have time for everything? I mean, they absorbed so much, so many characters, so many series that I really wonder if they can even like make that many movies on their own or explore that many different arcs on their own. And I mean, it just goes to show that like some of these things are going to be lost or they're going to cut some corners just to be able to manage it all. An example of that is that they shut down one of their studios called Fox 2000 Pictures instantly. And this was like a small company that made movies like Devil Wears Prada, Love, Simon, Fault in Our Stars, Hidden Figures, and stuff, which some of those movies are really good, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're never going to make movies like that again. I mean, not the same people or the same setting at least, but it's kind of like worrying what we won't get to see just by like Disney owning everything. And not only what we lose as a consumer, but they're already laying off like a ton of people.
Yeah.
And again, with like Google Stadia, it's kind of like, well, now Disney owns everything. They can kind of just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary to see all of this consolidation among big industries and just know that they have like kind of complete control and they can decide where where the future goes for consumers, and they can decide what prices they want to charge for that future.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about those possibilities, honestly.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cool stuff coming from this, but also a lot of like, oh, well, I hope Disney's nice to us because they kind of have everything right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever been to like Disney World or Disneyland, you can see really how like those places are kind of like their own countries. They're completely self-sufficient in a myriad amount of ways. And just that kind of power over the entertainment industry, like they really are so very organized in the way that they do things. I guess it kind of sucks for like Fox, people who really liked Fox things that came out of Fox. I mean, Fox is great and all, but I don't know. I didn't really watch FX. A lot of Fox movies I didn't really like pay attention to if they were Fox or not. I watched X-Men. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I do like Disney a lot, but it is a little bit worrying. Also, how do you guys feel about those live-action Disney movies? Live action in quotes.
Yeah, in quotes.
I
Please
feel a
don't
lot.
get me started. Yeah. If I may, like, I have not watched and have chosen to not watch a single live action movie. I really love the animation style of the originals that they came from, and it is kind of being like an old man stuck in his ways, but it's like those, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, we'll even take, I don't know, Aladdin, because that's one of the new ones that they're coming out with as well. Even Dumbo, right? These movies are they were animated so amazingly. When you look at these things, you think, how the fuck did they get that creature on screen to look like it is alive and has weight? And even Bambi, for example, how they made it prance around and stuff like that. It's like, it's so beautiful. And then we get into this, let's just throw everything into a live action. There's just a lot that you lose in terms of like, it's not quality, because it definitely is an improvement. I don't think live action is necessarily bad. It just feels like it's taking away from what it was built on. And then I think about like the kids who are going to be watching these today may not ever hear about those old movies at all because of the way that we're moving. Maybe when they're older, they're like, "Oh, what's this movie? I thought this was the only Aladdin movie." That sort of thing. But the trailers were cool though. I did enjoy the trailers.
Oh man, I mean, like, Dumbo, for example. Dumbo, they made an animated movie originally because there just aren't flying elephants, and if you try to make a movie that has a flying elephant computer made into it, it just looks terrible, But we're getting to a really weird point in animation right now where computer generated or like 3D animated stuff can look really close to life, or at least be deceivingly close to life. Like, obviously, you look at this Dumbo picture, right? Look at Dumbo's sad clown face, or just regular Dumbo looking at you. It kind of looks like an elephant, but also doesn't really look like a real elephant. You know what I mean? Like, you can see, like, oh wow, the details, like the veins in his ears or the hair on his head or whatever. Yeah, there's some detail there, but like, it still doesn't look like a real elephant. But it looks good. Not quite a real elephant, but it looks good. You know?
Yeah.
He's unnaturally clean, I
Technically
think.
impressive. Yeah.
I mean, and the same thing with like the genie. Let's just look at Will Smith genie. Okay, when he first comes out of the lamp in the trailer, okay? His body is not even his, I feel like. I feel like it's like those really like old back in the like, or like in SpongeBob, or like when they like superimpose like a real guy's face on like a 2D image or something like that. Like Will Smith's face is moving, but his head isn't moving the way that his face would make it move when he's talking, when he first comes out of the lamp. And he's just Will Smith but blue, and then he's regular Will Smith. The monkey looks more convincing. I know it might be a real monkey, it might be fake. It looks way more convincing what the monkey was doing, flipping around and all that stuff and bouncing or whatever, than Will Smith when he first comes out of the lamp. Like, it just looked so bad. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time having big blue boy Will Smith and real Will Smith coexist. Like, give me one or the other, and I might buy into big blue boy. Though, I don't care too much about the reboots in general. Like, it's fine. I was not raised in a Disney Renaissance. I was just on the other side of it, so my perspective is pretty different from someone who is attached on these movies from childhood.
Right.
But the Dumbo's like, it's probably going to be okay. I don't care too much about it. But
Danny
as
DeVito.
someone who is recently, yes, but as someone who's recently invested into musicals, I find the new quote unquote live action ones for musicals really interesting, because I like seeing the contrast between musically and choreography wise, if you want to call it choreography, if it's all CGI, I don't know. But especially musically, these people are actually singing to some extent, at least.
Yeah.
And it's interesting hearing the stylistic differences that people take with these songs today rather than they were 20 or however many years ago, depending on the movie.
I mean, Will Smith sings Friend Like Me in the trailer a little bit. I mean, he's got a couple albums, you know? He's actually like a musician to an extent.
It just sounds like Will Smith, though. That's what I.
It really does. It really does just sound like Will Smith.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's not like we got an amateur here. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to sing. I think. Yeah. And I don't think he'll match up to the Robin Williams, but you got to kind of look at it from a perspective of I've never seen Aladdin before. I'm just watching this new Aladdin. And it's a different movie. I'm really disappointed that at the beginning of the movie, he's like running away and they're calling him a street rat, blah, blah, blah. But there's a song for that in the original animated film. It does not seem to be there in the trailer. I hope it's in there. It's probably not, but that's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. For what it's worth, as someone who has spent an enormous amount of time with Beauty and the Beast in the last few months, the new live action movie did not cut much, but they did cut a couple songs. So it's possible that's not there, but it's likely that it is.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. They probably just cut it. Like, we got enough songs in here. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the animated films, the reason why you make something animated, right? Like, the reason why somebody chooses a anime, like, they make an anime for like cool shit instead of making it like a live action thing is because you can do stuff with animation you can't do in real life, and you can make proportions look really big and crazy, and then when they like actually happen, it feels like it has more of an impact, or you know, something like that. But with live action, it's just as real as it can look. You know what I mean? Like there's limitations in reality. If you make it look too crazy in a live action movie, then it looks bizarre. But in animation, you can make something look as wild and as big and crazy as you want. And it just fits because it's animation. So I feel like a lot of that is lost in the new live action movies, but
All I'm gonna say is if you have not watched the live action Bleach, please go do it, dude. It is actually pretty fucking cool. Like, I watched it and I was like, oh, this is so dumb. I'm like, oh, this is just. It reminded me of the Dragon Ball live action that came out like in 2006 or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. But then the fight scenes break out and you see Ichiro fighting fucking. Not Ichiro. Ichigo. Sorry. Ichigo fighting fucking Renji. Anyway.
Ichiro from the Seattle Mariners.
He was fighting Renji.
His retirement go well.
Yeah, he's like, I'm back to hit the home run, baby. And they're like, Masaka! But
Do you mind if I touch on the Disney remakes before we just talk about Bleach for the rest of the podcast?
Let's hear it. I'm ready.
The first Disney remake that I ever saw was the Jungle Book one. I don't even remember if that was the first one or not. But it kind of gave me like a different expectation for the other ones because Jungle Book, while it was based off of like the original animation, it kind of had its own unique storyline. So I got something new out of the experience besides, wow, look, it's Mowgli, but Baloo, he looks like a cool actual bear. And I felt like, okay, well, that was actually unique. Like that was like the basic storyline with like man and fire and everything, but it was done in a very new way. Ever since then, I feel as though when they make these movies, the only time they diverge from the storyline is as an excuse to show off their CGI more. And I don't really care about their CGI. It is very beautiful and it's very impressive, but it's also very show-offy and like there's certain times it's like I don't want to look at a Cogsworth that is that detailed. It's just creepy. It's not even fun anymore. Like, why are you showing me this? And
Detective Pikachu.
Let's not even go there with me. But the other problem I have with it is that not only do they stick so close to the original storyline, it's just a straight up remake. They like want to show off their CGI so bad, but they like stick really close to the parts that will pander to all the people who are there for the nostalgia. And if I wanted to watch the same movie again, then I would watch the same movie again. It was very good the first time. Why do you have to remake it, right? Mm-hmm. And I am big on nostalgia in a lot of ways, but I really hate when it's used as a marketing device. So I'm really like turned off of these movies just because of the over-the-top show-offy CGI and the like nostalgia marketing. And I really just want new like original content movies, because earlier I was like looking up this stuff and I just googled what are the most like recent Disney produced movies in the past couple years, and I got Mary Poppins Returns, Ralph Breaks the Internet, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Christopher Robin, Incredibles 2, A Wrinkle in Time, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Coco, whatever. Oh, there's like 2 or 3 maybe of all of those movies in the past couple years that are actually original content, and I really liked them. And when I've actually gone to watch the sequels, like, whatever, another Incredibles, after all this time to like milk our darn cash cow, let me just go to the movies and feed into this. I got to see Bao. When I went to see Finding Dory, I got to see Piper, the seagull short film at the beginning, and it's like, why aren't they making these movies? Why aren't they giving these artists a spotlight? I would love to see a new story and a new adventure and a new point of view. But I'm seeing the same characters and the same models and the same assets, or if not, I'm seeing, look at how realistic and amazing we can make this look, but it's the same thing. Now you can put them side by side. See how much we did? Like, okay, but you didn't even make a new story. So I know I sound really like cynical about this, but it just makes me want something different when I see all of these remakes and all of these sequels. Every single thing that we're talking about today, every single thing, Dumbo, Frozen, Aladdin. We're gonna talk about Toy Story, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
They're all a sequel or a remake.
It's
Yeah.
true.
That's
Honestly,
true. If it's original content, it'd be pretty hype.
honestly, I might go see Frozen 2, even though I don't even care about Frozen 2. I might go just for the short at the beginning.
Yeah, dude, just go for the beginning and then leave.
Too expensive.
No,
But
So
yeah.
it's worth it for that artist.
the play is to go get a ticket to Frozen 2. You go in, you watch the short, you leave discreetly, and then you quietly enter another movie theater, and then catch the other 2/3 of whatever.
I
What-
love that.
I don't know what
idea.
the kids are watching these days.
We'll
You're
just say it's the new
genius.
Marvel movie, so we can watch the ending of that one.
Yeah, so you can see the credit scene.
Yeah.
Perfect.
there we go.
How do you guys feel about Frozen 2? I feel like the whole story of Frozen 1 kind of just said and done it all, and now there's a Frozen 2 coming out.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I've never seen Frozen. All of my information from Frozen came from Kingdom Hearts, and I'm pretty sure it's on the nose with that one. Just got a feeling about it. And yeah, I have no interest in this new movie. I think it looks good. I think it looks dope to see Elsa dive into the ocean. That's it, though.
That ocean was beautiful.
It was a beautiful ocean.
Yeah, and that was just a teaser. Like, okay, let's just, since we're like talking about movies, let's just talk about trailers these days. Frozen 2 trailer. What the fuck is the movie about? What are they doing?
I loved it.
What's the plot? Perfect, right? That's
Yep.
all you need to know in a movie trailer. Toy Story 4, they tell the entire... It's not even a trailer. It's a summary of the plot. They tell you everything. It's a summary of the plot of the whole... Why am I going to go watch that movie? Okay, the toys are leaving because Forky jumped out the window or something. Oh, now Forky's outside. But now we're friends with Forky. And now we're at the carnival. Woody likes the carnival. Let's spend time in the carnival. Let's go back to Bonnie's house. Okay, we're at Bonnie. It's like, what? Did you just show me the whole movie?
Yep. Hey, they saved you $16 at the movie theater.
Right? Instant gratification. I got to watch Toy Story 4 in 4 minutes. But I will say, Frozen 2, I didn't learn anything about the plot. I have no idea why they're running around in the wilderness. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what it's about at all. But it looks cool. Like, you already know if you want to watch Frozen 2 or not, if you've seen Frozen 1. If you have kids, I'm sure that you're probably going to see Frozen 2 whether you like it or not.
Yep.
But they just showed you enough of the movie to say, like, hey, there's a Frozen 2, and it looks beautiful. Why don't you come and watch it? You don't have to know anything about the movie. I just think it was kind of nice, and
Oh, I agree.
I don't know, a lot of people get really butthurt over Frozen because it got so popular, and I understand it's, like, in your face, but you have to remember that even though they're, like, family movies, and everybody should be able to enjoy them in the family as they're watching them, they're also meant for the kids, and the kids love Frozen. So of course they're going to make another Frozen. Of course they're going to make another thing that they can just milk to the end of time. At the same time, like, when we were little, every single Disney movie I liked, they made a sequel for, and every single sequel was, like, either really forgettable or just plain out sucked. So I'm not sure that the actual movie will be good, but I like the trailer, and hopefully it will be good. If not, maybe kids will at least like it. I don't know.
Well, something good to think about that too is that, in when we grew up, when we got Lion King 2, actually, Lion King 2 was all right.
Yeah.
When we get Aladdin 2, like, that's terrible. But when I see sequels of today, like Ralph Breaks the Internet, it's a sequel, but it's not bad. So I'm pretty hopeful. Even though I haven't even seen Frozen and I don't care about it, I have like a weird optimism. Like, yeah, it's probably gonna be good. Even though I had no idea.
I'd rather them do Frozen 2 and Frozen 3 than bring back Toy Story for Toy Story 4. I mean, I love Tom Hanks. I love Toy Story as a world and everything, but I don't know. I feel like all the lessons have been told. Andy's gone, like I feel like Toy Story 4 is just like a zombie. It came back from the dead to tell another story, another Toy Story, and I don't know what else there is to be told. And what's with Bo
Tom
Peep?
Hanks, though.
Yeah, Tom Hanks, he's back. Excellent performance as always, Mr. Tom Hanks. But why?
It's because now we have an imaginary spoon friend.
I know.
We
It's
have
got, like-
to know how it, like, even that trailer. Well, okay, hold on. The earlier trailers of Toy Story before they did this actual trailer drop were pretty nice. They didn't allude to anything. They were just the two little cute stuffy birds sitting there chatting or messing with Buzz.
Huh.
Like, I like that. That was actually really good. But then they dropped this one. They gave us the whole plot. I'm like, why'd you guys do that?
Yeah.
I was already enticed. Like, please.
I don't like how they do trailers these days. I mean, have you seen the one for the Spider-Man Far From Home?
Oh,
Like-
no, I didn't even know about it.
He's like, I'm going on my trip. I'm not going to bring my Spider-Man suit. So, because they don't need a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And then he goes on his trip and something bad happens. That's all they needed to show. But then they show Nick Fury. And he's like, we need you, Spider-Man. We need you to be a Spider-Man. Which spoils the plot of Endgame, because if this takes place after Endgame, then that means that Nick Fury and Spider-Man come back to life. Anyways, I mean, on top of that debacle, right? Then it shows Jake Gyllenhaal come in, and he's like a new superhero. And it's like, if you didn't show me any of this, and you just showed me, oh, Spider-Man went abroad, Spider-Man didn't bring his suit, and now bad stuff's happening, he's gotta be a Spider-Man, then I'd be like, okay, that's good enough. I'm gonna go watch the movie now. Of course, everybody's gonna watch it. Spider-Man's the most popular superhero in the entire world. But it just showed me that, like, oh, Nick Fury's also in Paris or Italy or wherever the hell he is in Europe. And also, so is Jake Gyllenhaal as the superhero that I don't know who he is. And he goes, you don't want to know what bad stuff's happening. And he gotta fight a villain. Like, this showed me, like, way more than I wanted. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to you went to a fancy restaurant and you're like, wow, this is great, I'm gonna love eating here. And they're like, here's the food you can have. You're like, wow, that's amazing. And they're like, come to our kitchen and see how our chefs make these dishes. And you're like, okay. And they show you, and then here's a glass of our finest wine. It's like, dude, hold up, I didn't even get to eat yet. What the hell's going on?
Yep.
And then he just brings you the bottle and he says, I bought Fox.
I almost wish that trailers would
Boy.
just would just revert back to a new world. Cause I mean, they were corny, but at least they were to the point.
We should just get Justin Roiland to do every commercial for everything. He just like gets a small script, say, "Hey, it's Toy Story 4." Okay, so now I'm a toy, and then he just goes from there. And then the title isn't even the same thing as what the movie is, and then it goes Toy Story 4. Be like, fuck yeah, I want to go watch that.
So, like, a pseudo trailer.
You're
You're like, wow, a different movie. Wow, I want to watch that. And then, like, Toy Story 4, you're like, oh, come on, a sequel!
You know,
the
yes.
bait and switch.
I think for movies it would work if they just did the like thing that video games do right now, where it's like in a new Nintendo Direct. By the way, Bayonetta 3 is in development. You'll find out more soon. For a movie, I don't need to know any more. I'm just hyped that it exists,
Right?
especially for sequels. But for games, you want longer trailers because you're like, this could be absolute ass. Like a movie from whatever big studio is probably going to be at least okay in quality. Maybe this story content's bad, but you need gameplay trailers and stuff to show you that the game just is not a Bethesda game, you know?
Exactly. And you know what? I have 270 hours in Fallout 4. And I didn't even enjoy that much of it.
Dude,
I really
I
liked
can't
it.
play
Got
that
it on
game.
launch day, and then we all played it together. That
Yeah.
was like the OG game club idea.
That's true. Game Club. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that
Find
soon.
out on the next podcast.
I mean, we're definitely okay. So I'll tell you what Game Club is. Game Club is we're gonna play a game. We're all gonna play the game, and we're gonna play it together. It might take 2 months. It might take a year for us to beat one game, but we're gonna do it, okay? And then we'll talk about it every time on this podcast. But we're not ready for that yet. We'll definitely do it to the next podcast.
I was gonna say, are we really gonna start Fallout 4? Because, dude, that game stresses me the fuck out.
No. I want to do Metroid Prime.
Oh, okay, that works.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started sweating as you guys started talking about Fallout 4. I'm like, oh my, please don't make
Okay,
it.
I
guys,
started sweating when we
Skyrim
started talking about
Switch.
Metroid.
Really?
I don't like robots in outer space.
I like robots.
Were we just gonna go this whole podcast without bringing up Shazam?
Oh my god. Have you guys seen the trailers for Shazam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DC has got it really rough with these superhero movies. I mean, they seriously have gotten it rough. And it's
Just let
like
Disney buy them.
they were no! They were sitting there. They were sitting there and they were watching Marvel movies. They're like, what the fuck are we doing wrong, guys? Let's watch every single Marvel movie, right? And they were sitting there and they're like, all right, let's make a movie that Marvel, like, of all of Marvel's greatest moments, okay? And they sat there and they were like, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. And they were like, let's take every single quip and, like, witty comment and stupid pun or stupid joke from every Marvel movie and make it into one movie. And that's Shazam.
You know what they said when they made it?
Hmm.
Shazam.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, I'm gonna need Pappy Bezos to buy DC. We gotta get some funding for these poor guys. Maybe
For
it's not
real.
a problem, but like, I would like there to be competition for the sake of the consumer, because then
Yes.
all consumers win.
I mean, didn't there used to be? Was there ever?
I mean, like, have you guys seen that '60s Batman movie of Adam West?
No, that's what
Like,
I'm talking
no.
about.
Like, if that came out today, it would destroy Captain Marvel.
You know what? It's
Then
funny that
Shazam
you're not
came out.
wrong.
Instead, Shazam, yeah. You look at Captain Marvel, you look at Shazam, you're like, what the fuck is Shazam doing?
Who thought that this could exist in the same world as a competitor?
Right? Oh, man. It's just...
I don't understand the target audience. Because it's not funny to an adult. I don't even think it would be
Magicians.
funny to a kid. Magicians. It's just so weird.
Shazam, and they got falsely lured into this DC movie.
You go in to watch Shazam, there's a whole bunch of guys wearing cloaks going into the theater.
Top hats. Looks
They
like
got their
1830s
feet.
England. Like Jack the Ripper's sitting in there, like, oh, this is quite a good movie.
Marvelous Shazam. Yes.
Jack the person there, like, I mean, I've been in America for a while, but there don't seem to be any, like, hookers or prostitutes or consorts. Who am I gonna kill?
I thought Shazam was a code word.
And he goes, and now check out my fushigi.
Oh, God, Fushigi.
Let's not get started on Fushigis.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
two.
a sign.
Tushigi.
The Tushigi is perhaps too far.
All I'm saying is that if all the jokes are bad, then maybe the movie could be good.
I don't know.
Like, if there's enough bad puns, I'm pretty sure I was like, okay, no, this is a good movie. But if it's just the trailer, I don't have high hopes for it.
You know, like, it can't be self-aware and also so bad it's good. I don't think those things can coexist.
I agree.
It
Yeah.
has to be self-aware and kind of funny, or it has to just be absolute trash. But then it's like, oh my god, this is incredible.
All right, and I mean, I guess that would have been the part where we talked about Game Club, but that's just gonna have to be for the next
They got
episode.
Shazam.
They get the idea. We talked about it. They get it.
Yeah.
Give them some credit.
Well, that's all we had to talk about for today. So, what do you guys want to do for closing out?
I like that
I
noise.
want Jackson's water droplet.
Yes.
Play us out.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ready.
Mhm.